Good evening and welcome to the Livonia City Council. The Honorable Brandon Kritzman will lead us in the pledge. Will you all rise?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Councilman Kritzman. We'd like to welcome you to the September 23rd study session of the Livonia City Council. This meeting sets the agenda for the 1,882nd regular meeting, which is a voting meeting, and that will take place on Monday, October the 7th of this year. We have one council absence, and that's Councilman Meekin. He is out on other city business. And do we have any special groups? No, we have our finance director in our audience, and we have a very light audience, but that's okay. You at home probably are watching us as well. And council, do you have any announcements? We did announce Linda Shields' birthday at the 7 o'clock meeting, so happy birthday, Linda, again. And if we don't have any announcements, we'll then announce that this is a study session, and there will be no votes taken at this time. Is there anyone from the audience that wishes to speak to the council on any matter that's not on the yellow sheet, which is our agenda for this evening? Sir, were you coming up? No? Okay, you're all set. Okay. All right, no one's coming up for audience communication, so we will proceed that this is a study meeting. No votes will be taken at this meeting. The council members will, however, offer either one resolution and or a combination of resolutions for each item. The resolutions offered may include an approving, a denying, or a referring resolution to a committee or a city department for the report and recommendation. A resolution of no further action may also be offered. There are some items that will simply be received and filed for the information of the City Council. Please note that all the items on tonight's agenda will move on to the regular meeting of Monday, October 7th, where they will be officially voted on. If you want to participate in tonight's meeting, if you would approach the podium to my left or right and give us your name and address for the record, we'd be happy to hear your comments and any suggestions when your item pops up. All right, council, we're going to go then to item 1, which we just learned that the petitioner isn't going to be here, so it's your pleasure if you wanted to act on this or move it to October 7th.
Madam President,
Please go ahead.
I'll offer an approving for the regular as to not impede the progress if the petitioner wants to show up at the next meeting.
Okay. Is there any discussion on that? No? Okay, I think you could show that on consent. Is that correct, Vice President? On consent?
Regular.
Oh, it has to go on the regular. That's right. Pardon me. All right, we're going to put that on the regular then. Great. All right. Is there anyone from the audience wishing to comment on item 1? Hearing and seeing no one. Item 2 is an appointment of Nicholas Lamco. Did I pronounce that right? Lamaco. To the Livonia Brownfield Redevelopment Authority. This is brought to us from the Office of the Mayor for a term which will expire on November 24th of this year. No, of 2022. Mr. Nicholas, how's that? Would you like to come up to the microphone and if council has any questions or comments? Thank you.
Thank you, I'd love to.
Madam President, I'd be happy to introduce Mr.
Please do. Thank you.
So Nick is the mayor's choice appointment to serve on the Brownfield Redevelopment Authority. Should you approve this, Nick, I've known for many years. He has a vast amount of experience in the planning profession. He's a graduate of Michigan State University, 1977. Also received his Master's of Public Administration, I believe in 1983 from Wayne State University. He spent most of his career as a professional community planner with Wade Trim and Associates. He is also married to Kathleen Lamaco, who is the executive director of SEMCOG. So I think the mayor has chosen very wisely in this particular case, and we'd be happy to have him serve on the Livonia Brownfield Redevelopment Authority.
Great. Councilman Kritzman, thank you. Mr. Terman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Termina certainly hit the highlights. I've known Nick just kind of on a tangential professional level for, I guess, probably about 10, 12 years now. He's well regarded in the planning community and his longstanding position at Wade Trim, I believe one of the principals there. And again, as Mr. Termina mentioned, his wife is also very active in the community. Runs with Councilman Jolly and I at Park Run every now and then when we choose to show up, but she's certainly there a lot more often than we are. Nick's got a great deal of knowledge regarding planning and community planning, and I think he's a great asset to this. I think this is the kind of appointment that we would love to see for these committees and commissions now and in the future. I think he will bring a great deal of expertise to it, and I appreciate you stepping up and helping to serve your community. Thank you, Nick.
Thank you.
With that, I'll offer an approving resolution and ask that that be placed on the consent agenda.
Super, thanks. Mr. Lemko, go ahead.
I just wanted to say it was a wonderful opportunity that was presented to me to serve on the Brownfield Redevelopment Authority Board. It's something I'm looking forward to do. You know, I retired from my planning consulting world after 40 years of consulting in December. And so I came to your planning director expressing an interest to give something back to the community at that time. My schedule certainly permitted me to do that. I've been a Livonia resident along with my wife for over 35 years now. And it's a great place to live, and it's something that I want to contribute to make sure it continues to be a great place to live and do business in. So I'm really looking forward to this position.
Well, thank you, and you graduated from the Harvard University JFK School, and that's very impressive, as did our young colleague here, Councilman Kritzman, and that's quite a good
Well, thank you.
Training that they provide there as well. And we also would like to congratulate you on your 41 years of, you just celebrated an anniversary, it looks like, as you read through your bio here.
I did.
Yeah,
Thank you.
congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, it sounds like everybody's pretty well satisfied with your credentials, and thank you very much
Great.
for offering your services to
Great.
our
I'll keep
great
my fingers
community.
crossed for October 7th.
Oh, yes, I'd be right here just in case, yes.
Okay.
I'm just
right.
joking with you.
Okay.
Okay, say hi to your wife for
I
us,
will.
please.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. Anyone else? I'm sorry, okay, you're good, okay. Item 3 then, council, and we have a very light audience, so anyone from the audience that wishes to speak, please step up to the podium tonight. Request to execute change of investment option for the city of Livonia, 401A and 457 retirement plans. This is brought to us from our finance director, Mr. Slater. Go right ahead, Mr. Slater.
Good evening, council. This is really a two-part request. Based upon the recommendation of the consultant for the city's 401 and 457 plans, we're recommending that city council authorize a change investment option. It's, in essence, the same type of fund with the same managers and a very nearly identical portfolio, but at a lower fee, so it saves cost to the participants in the plan. And then along with that, we're also requesting that city council, as is allowed by ordinance, delegate the authority for selection of funds for the 401A and 457 plans to the city's board of trustees, so that each time this happens, it doesn't have to come back to city council. With that, I'd be happy to offer any, answer any questions council may have.
Thank you very much. Council. Yes, Council Vice President.
Just for clarification, when you say the city's board of trustees, what are you referring to?
The board of trustees is the pension board.
Yeah, that's,
But their formal name is Board of Trustees.
is it really?
Yes.
Oh, wow. I learned something new. I'll offer both of those resolutions for consent.
Thank you. You've heard Councilman Jolly. Is there any others? Anyone from the audience? Okay, you're all good on consent there, Mr. Slater, and
you.
thank you, Madam Clerk. Okay. Number 4 is a request to approve agreement between the City of Livonia and the Michigan Department of Transportation. This is brought to us from our wonderful engineering department. Mr. Zelinczyk.
Good evening, Madam President, City Council members. As you know, we want to keep enhancing the PRDA corridor. This has been a long-term efforts by the board to get mast arms installed at Tech Center Drive. MDOT's been working diligently to get the mast arms and traffic signals upgraded along that corridor, including Sears Drive. So we met last year, and then now they've provided a contract for us. So we're requesting the amount of $69,400 to put mast arms, similar to what was done previously at Levan Road a few years back, to help, again, upgrade that corridor. They're looking for a deposit of $27,800. This is a time-sensitive contract. We're looking to bring it back, if approved at the regular meeting on October 7th, and then ask for a non-veto letter to get this moving forward. Again, there's 5 communities. They're improving the traffic signals. We're one of them, and appreciate their efforts to, again, improve the corridor, make it safer, and look for Tech Center Drive to have new mast arms in 2020 and some upgrades at Sears Drive in 2020. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Questions from Mr. Zelinski or,
Madam President.
yes, please, go right ahead,
So this is
Councilman
an
Barr.
agreement between us and the state, and yet we're doing 100% of the costs. Can you just help me, what's the nature of the agreement? Is it just because the streetlights are responsibility, but the road's their responsibility, and so,
The mast arms we're paying for the decorative mast arms that go in each quadrant.
okay.
So we're, typically them with the street name signs, so we're trying to enhance it like we done previously at Levan Road.
Got it, thanks.
Direction, council, or comment?
Madam Chair, I'll
Yes,
offer
please.
the approving and ask that it be placed on consent if there's no
Thank you.
objection.
Thank you very much. Councilwoman White has offered an approving on consent. Were there any others? Anyone from the audience? Hearing and seeing no one, Madam Clerk, you have that down then, correct? Item 5 is vacating petition brought to us from the Planning Commission. I'm going to turn this over to Mr. Termina. Go right ahead.
Thank you. This is a request to vacate a small section of public road right-of-way. It is Surrey Avenue. It's located south of Schoolcraft, just west of Farmington Road. This section of Surrey currently terminates at the City Department of Public Works. As part of the overall redevelopment of the site at 13335 Farmington Road for the new administration building for DPW, this section of Surrey terminates right at that property and has been determined as part of the site planning that it's no longer needed and will actually serve a beneficial purpose towards the redevelopment of this property by allowing the city to install control gates at that point that will limit ingress and egress to employees only into the backside of that facility. Does not adversely affect public utilities, and as recommended by the Planning Commission, a no outlet sign has been installed to advise travelers that they cannot exit out to Farmington Road south of a point or south of Graytona. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Council?
I'll offer approving for consent.
Councilman Jolly has offered approving on consent. Were there any others? Anyone from the audience? We have an approving resolution on consent, Madam Clerk. Council, under new business is a site plan. This is brought to us from the Planning Commission. Mr. Toromina, go right ahead.
Thank you. This is a request to redevelop the gas station site located at the northeast corner of 6 Mile and Haggerty Roads. This property is roughly 6/10 of an acre in size. It includes 141 feet of frontage along 6 Mile Road and about 186 feet along Haggerty Road. Access to the site is provided by 2 driveways, one on 6 Mile, the other off of Haggerty Road. This is a smaller gas station. Currently, there are 4 fuel pump islands. There's a canopy that extends above the fuel pumps. That's roughly 100 feet in length, and that runs, as you can see from this aerial photograph, parallel to Haggerty Road. As part of the redevelopment of the site, the existing 1,000 square foot building would be demolished and a new building constructed that would total roughly 2,576 square feet. So it's going to more than double the size of the convenience store. The building will be placed about 8 feet from the east property line, running in, as you can see, a north to south direction. A new canopy and new fuel pumps will be configured on the site. This will be what is referred to as a dive-in design, allowing vehicles to enter the fuel pumps from either the west or the east. Again, access will remain from both Haggerty as well as 6 Mile Roads. Floor plan submitted with the application shows that there would be a large retail display area for food items as well as dry goods and a walk-in cooler. Additionally, there would be a cashier station, an office, restroom, stockroom, and a future food service area. Looking at the building's design, and let me scroll to the color renderings. The building would contain a combination of burnished stone, which would be along the base, glazing, a large amount of windows along the mid portion of the building, brick as well, and then the upper part of the facade would contain ephes along with a decorative cornice. The building overall is about 16 feet 7 inches in height. The site complies in all respects to the setback requirements of the zoning ordinance, as well as parking. We looked at the trash dumpster and where that's going to be situated. There were some changes made there at the recommendation of the Planning Commission. That'll be properly screened. Landscaping overall is about 18% of the site. As you can see from the approving resolution of the Planning Commission, they are recommending that the landscaping be improved. Stormwater detention would be handled underground, and signage at this point has not been reviewed as part of this petition. What the Planning Commission is recommending approval of the application, and with that, I'll be happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Termina. Questions, comments from the council? Certainly, Councilwoman.
Just a comment, I seem to have lost network connectivity. Mark, are there any pictures in the packet that you just showed that show what the current landscaping looks like today?
Photographs?
Yeah,
I have them in the file, but not on this slideshow, unfortunately.
okay.
There's ample green space on the site. That won't change. Again, it's nearly 20% of the site. But there's been an issue with maintenance and with some of the materials either dying or have been removed. So we're asking that all be upgraded, and I believe that should be condition number 3 or 4 in the Planning Commission's approving resolution.
That's, I saw that, but one of my concerns, and I'm trying to remember, and I can't pull the picture up, like I said, because the network's down, is the shape of the landscaping. Because one of the concerns, or one of the pet peeves with service stations is when we approve, and at this point, it's generally, and I should be going through the chair
That's all
to
right.
Mark, I'm sorry,
You're
Madam
fine.
President. When we approve, and again, at this point, it's generally a remodel, not a new station, right?
Right.
And landscaping's approved, and it looks great for a year, and then by the next summer, it looks horrible. And because gas stations are, of course, right along generally main thoroughfares, it becomes, it just looks terrible, and I can't, off the top of my head, remember what this one looks like, so. Just a general comment about the importance of keeping up the landscaping. It's great and important, of course, to meet the requirements, right, as stipulated by the Planning Commission, but, so I was just trying to recall in my mind what this one is like now.
You're absolutely correct, and one of the issues that was revealed during the review of this item was that the irrigation system was non-functional, so that's one of the items that needs to be corrected.
So this is gonna have irrigation then?
Yes.
Oh, perfect, great. Anyone else?
Madam Chair.
Certainly, go right ahead, Councilman.
Just looking at the drawings, we've done this countless times. We've got drawings presented to us that are representative of kind of the general intention to build. I think in the end, it represents very inconsistent product. We're seeing things, when you look at the general composition of the building, you've got block down low, you've got a brick sill, you've got brick moving forward, you've got a couple of brick soldier courses making their way around, you've got ephes across the top. I mean, these. I get bothered when we have drawings presented to us that are signed off by someone who clearly didn't design the project, and I can tell you that's what happened here. The person whose name is in the signature line is not the person who designed the project. I think for the most part, the materials are consistent with what we would expect. I would like a clarification of what the dumpster enclosure is made of and constructed of, and I know that's an easy one to make fun of, but it should be block, or sorry, excuse me, it should be brick to match the existing building. When you look at the inconsistencies of the drawings and door swings and what's swinging where and where things are shown, I mean, it's, I think the drawings need to be cleaned up in general. You know, we're showing a south elevation that doesn't have a door in it, but the plan shows a door in it. The north elevation is showing a door in it, but the door is actually swinging the other way in plan. We're talking about block coursing that looks sloppy and frankly doesn't match on all of the elevations. When you start talking about going away from building materials that we tend to appreciate on council as it relates to, say, brick, for example, and you start going to partial block situations, without the drawings being cleaner, I'm unfortunately afraid that we might actually get this. And while the general characteristics of the building are good, the proportions of it are good, this does represent our contract moving forward, and I would ask that the drawings be cleaned up a little bit to represent that. And I unfortunately haven't made my way through all of the planning commission commentary and haven't seen any renderings of the building or material selections, but I think that's something we should be paying attention to. If we haven't been presented with that, I would ask that we are presented with it prior to the next meeting.
Thank you, Councilman. Yes, go right ahead, Councilwoman McIntyre.
I was able to get into another network, and I found the pictures, and this is how I recall it, you know, the landscaping, and I understand there's going to be a new irrigation system, but the landscaping looks, the grass is dying, it's patchy, the current landscaping, if you can call that, if that is really non-existent and not attractive, and the parking lot is in terrible condition. There's garbage around the interior of the parking lot. There are weeds that have been allowed to grow in between the concrete blocks and between the asphalt and the curb at the interior of the brick wall. So, you know, I'd like to understand how the petitioner plans to maintain the facility once this remodeling is done, because what's there now is really, I find it insulting to your customers, and I find it a bit insulting to the city.
Okay, let's call up the petitioner. And could you state your name and address for the record, please?
Good evening, council members. Ali Saad, 39356 Mile Road, Livonia 48152. To address Mrs. McIntyre, you made a very, very valid point, and when we sat up here in front of the planning commission, no matter what we're trying to do to this corner, it's like putting lipstick on a pig. At the end of the day, it's a pig. It's an old facility. It was an old Amoco station built into the 70s. There isn't a dollar amount that we can put into this that I feel if we do invest into the overall landscape or whatever money that we're putting into it, we're not able to recapture that. But by having a totally new facility, I feel that at that point, we're going to maintain, we'll have a new landscape, we're going to maintain all of the issues that you're saying are visible to me as an owner of that facility as well, and to the customers. But we try to maintain it, but it's just, it's like throwing money in the air, to be honest with you, because it's just, we're not able to recapture the business and to get anything from it. I think that having a new corner there and reestablishing that landscape, we will take, we'll have more of a sense of pride of ownership at that point in the facility. And to answer your question, yes, we will maintain that and pridefully do so at that time.
Certainly, continue, sure.
The point's very well taken about the difficulty in trying to make a old, outdated, not modern facility look like it should today, but, and I understand that and appreciate that, but that certainly doesn't apply to the ability to sweep up garbage around your lot.
Absolutely correct. And you may have caught a picture there that the day that you caught it, it might have been windy and there might have been, but
Well,
we
there's
have
quite a
to-
bit that it looks like, you know, it looks like debris that's been there for a while. So I'll leave my comments at that. I'm done. Thank you, Madam
Thank you.
President.
Yes, go right ahead, Councilman Kritzman.
I think in general, the idea of building a new facility is going to be able to breathe that new life into the property. And I think you're a rare exception that steps up to the podium and says, we could put some fresh coat of paint on here and try to make a go of it, but it's not gonna work. So I commend you for that, and I think you're headed in a great direction. I didn't want my comments to be necessarily indicative of being against the project. I think your direction in your project, I think the layout of the site is good, but you have an opportunity there with all of the real estate and all of the landscape. You know, some of it is you're a bit of a gateway to the city in a lot of ways, and you're the edge.
Absolutely.
You set the mark in a lot of ways. And where right now that property doesn't speak to the public a whole lot, you have the chance to do that. And we invite you to do that, and we certainly want to be a partner with you on that. And like I said, I think the material selections that have been made are, okay, it's the same architecture that gas stations have. I actually appreciated that you didn't have like kind of fake stone on it, which unfortunately is kind of like a typical thing to do on a gas station these days. If you are able to do the block down at the bottom and a nice soldier course of real brick and go with the brick to the top with a drive it or EFIS finish at the top, you've got a nice look there, and I think overall it's headed in a great direction. When you start looking at the specifics of kind of block coursing and some of the details of the building, man, we can sit and have conversations about that for hours at a time. The big picture stuff that Councilwoman McIntyre and others maybe have expressed is that you have a chance to have a great property at a super prime location, help us be introducing the world or the community or the greater community to Livonia at that intersection. And it sets a precedent, and you certainly as a business owner and operator are going to want to continue that and do that same thing. So anything you can do to step up that landscaping as has been requested would certainly be recommended.
Absolutely, and just to compound of what you're saying, constructive criticism is great, and I'm not taking offense to this. It's not like you're talking about one of my kids. So at the end of the day, I'm here to work. I'm hoping and I'm looking for this type of input from you guys. This is it is a great corridor to the city. Anytime I describe somebody where the corner is that I own, I do take pride in saying, wow, it's on 6th and Haggerty, and it's a very appealing corner. And you say it's on your way to Mitchell's, it's on your way to P.F. Chang's, it's this way, it's right next to Madonna. So I do like that corner, but right now I don't have that sense of pride, of ownership. That it's old, it's ugly. I'm gonna take pride in owning that corner, and it will be a staple mark of the city and people coming into it. So I do look forward to taking your recommendations and everybody else and the panel's recommendations of how you want it built. So there's not a specific budget that we're putting on this. I don't mind putting brick. It's not gonna come down to dollars and cents at the end of the day with a few dollars here, a few dollars there. But so we're going to pick the top of the line in quality of material that we're gonna place into this. So I'm not trying to cut any corners with it at all, and we are gonna maintain the greenery and the shrubbery and put a new irrigation system in there and properly water the everything and make it look pretty again. That's what we're here for.
Thank you. Councilman Barr. were
How long
done?
have you owned the property?
2011.
Okay. I was actually hoping you were to say you bought it more recently than that, because I don't want to,
2021.
I don't need to pile on. I concur with what Kathleen said. I listened to you talk, and frankly, I find it even more concerning because I'm not even looking at this and saying that, well, a big landscaping renovation would be nice. I mean, we're talking about mowing the lawn and trimming the bushes. I mean, I don't care what your house looks like. You can take pride in that.
Absolutely.
And I'll just be, again, I don't mean to pile on, but I just want to tack on to what she said. One thing is that you've owned the property for 8 years, and I'm excited about the project you're doing here, and we'll wait to see what you do and hope that it's better. But an 8-year track record of not taking pride in ownership, and I don't have a lot of confidence that the pride in ownership is going to be there. So I look forward to you proving me wrong, and
You know, they're legalizing the betting system pretty soon, so I'd love to, I really will take pride of that, and I understand the track record does prove us wrong, but I hope to prove you wrong in the future.
So too. Thanks.
Councilman Kritzman.
Madam Chair, I'll offer an approving resolution, but I would ask that that be placed on the regular agenda. And I'm gonna throw this to you, sir, and ask that you take our comments to heart and bring us back some changes, bring us back some revisions that reflect the things that you've heard here tonight. And if you're interested in reaching out to us, please do that. But I live just off 6 Mile, and I have taken a right turn on that intersection so many times, and I look forward to stopping there in the future.
Thank you, I do
So-
too. Hopefully it'll look a lot more appealing. months to
Okay, I think you've heard the council loud and clear, and you have an approving, and it's gonna be on a regular, meaning we gotta vote on that on October 7th, sir. So you wanna get that information in the council, okay?
come. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Anyone from the audience wishing to speak to this issue before we leave it? Okay. Madam Clerk, you've got everything, right? All righty. Is there anything else? If not, we're gonna go back to audience communication. Anyone wishing to speak to the council that's not on the yellow sheet, please approach the podium my left or right. If not, we're gonna say good night, and we are adjourned.
32 works for me. That is what we are.
Huh?